Aloha, and welcome to the University of Hawaii West Oahu's Research and Writing series. This four-part series is a partnership between the library and the No'eau Center. My name is Karina, and I'm a public services librarian, serving primarily the social sciences and education divisions. Elsewhere in this series, you will meet Robin, who is the director of the No'eau Center, which is the learning center at UH West Oahu. We're excited for you to be part of this workshop series. We've partnered together to help empower you through the research and writing process. The videos in this series are accompanied by quizzes. If you're completing any of the episodes for credit in a course, please complete the quiz questions after you watch the video or as we direct you to certain questions throughout the video. Here, you can see how we've broken down the research and writing process. The first episode in this series focuses on how to identify a topic and how to find background information. In this episode, we'll be talking about the different ways that you can brainstorm ideas, the resources that you can use to find background information, and how you can refine your topic to ensure that it will satisfy the demands of your assignment guidelines. Now, before we do anything else, let's start off with some tips that we hope you'll remember and utilize not only when you're trying to identify a topic, but throughout the entire research and writing process. First and foremost, it's incredibly important to keep notes. As your research progresses, you might hit a wall. So if you keep a steady log of what you did where and what you've been finding, you'll be able to consult your notes and consider alternate approaches to your search strategy or to your overall topic. Talking with others is also beneficial, as their feedback can make you consider various viewpoints or routes. For some people, the simple act of verbalizing their thoughts with a confidant is enough to show how weak or strong an idea is. So don't be afraid to talk to your friends, to your classmates, to your family, or to your teacher. Now, when you have an assignment that you need to work on, the first thing that you should do is carefully review the assignment guidelines to make sure you know what it is you're supposed to be doing. There's some key things to look for. When is the assignment due? Are there requirements pertaining to the length of the paper or the number of peer-reviewed articles that you need to utilize? What are the overall goals of the assignment? To present an argument, to describe an issue, or to compare opposing viewpoints? Has the professor provided you with example ideas or topics to illustrate what you should be striving for and/or topics that you should avoid? Review whatever it was that was shared with you and write down any questions you have so that you can get clarification from your instructor. It's incredibly important to do this at the very beginning of your assignment so that you don't do a lot of work only to realize that you're doing the wrong thing. After you've reviewed the assignment guidelines and are beginning to brainstorm ideas, you should start by considering what the class is about. What is it that you're studying? What made you take this particular course? In everything in this field of study that you've examined before, what did you find most interesting? Some ways to spark ideas might be to look through your class syllabus or your textbook. Now, the most important aspect of brainstorming is to consider your personal interests. You want the research and the writing to be enjoyable for you, so pick a topic that you're truly interested in. Is there a way that you can tie the assignment to a trend that has always fascinated you, or a hobby that you have, or a major controversy that you've always wanted to learn more about? CQ Researcher and Points of View Reference Center are great resources if you want to explore controversial topics that have been receiving worldwide attention. Using either resource, you'll see a general overview of various topics that you might wish to explore further. What's especially useful about these library databases is that they provide well-balanced insight. To access CQ Researcher from the library's website, you'll want to go to our list of databases. Since it's alphabetically ordered, I can click on C to find it faster. Once on CQ Researcher, you can then choose to explore featured reports and to browse in various ways, including by those deemed to be especially hot topics. You can always do a keyword search as well. If you find a report you like, you can download it to ensure easy access at a later date. It's important to note that these reports are not peer-reviewed. If you aren't sure what a peer-reviewed article is, we'll discuss that further in the next episode of this series. These reports on CQ Researcher are written by journalists who are trying to give an unbiased, well-researched overview into a complex topic. While fact-checked extensively, reports do not go through the traditional rigorous peer review process. Thus, these reports are good if you're beginning your research and want help finding suitable topics. Likewise, Points of View Reference Center, which you can also access through the library's A to Z database list, is another database that you can utilize to help you brainstorm topics. This database helps you to understand both sides of controversial issues. Here, you'll see a brief preview of the type of content and functionality you can find in Points of View Reference Center. The key here is to consider the assignment, what the focus of your course is, and what interests you as an academic and a human. Even if the assignment is for a Gen Ed core course that you're required to take, there are ways to make it engaging for you and related to your specific major. That's a win-win. Now in this next section, we're going to give you a few examples of assignment guidelines you might receive. In this first scenario, you've been given a very guided topic with very specific guidelines. The topic pertains to activism, and you're required to take up a cause you believe in, then provide a strong argument supported with credible evidence that explains to the reader exactly why this is a cause worth believing in. Your instructor has provided you with guidelines pertaining to length and the amount as well as type of resources you'll need to use to support your stance. With an assignment like this, not much time will need to be devoted to choosing a topic as you've been given really specific guidelines and are constrained to the field of activism. So the majority of your time will instead be spent on selecting a cause you believe in, researching that cause, and convincing others that the cause is important with strong, cohesive arguments and evidence in your actual paper. In a more open-ended example of assignment guidelines you might receive, your instructor might grant you a lot of leeway in choosing a topic. In this specific scenario, you can write about any topic related to U.S. history. Now imagine that you are the student tasked with writing this paper, and that you really love movies and everything about Coca-Cola, the taste, their marketing, their company, just everything about Coca-Cola. When reviewing your syllabus, you saw both the Great Depression and the Vietnam War were going to be discussed in class. Both events interested you, as you know how pivotal they were in American history, and you don't really know much about either. So one topic you could consider writing about might be how Coca-Cola was flourishing in the Great Depression while the rest of the economy was floundering. Many attribute their growth during this time to an affordable drink which increased consumer demand, and by successful marketing strategies that appealed to Americans. You might also consider writing about the Vietnam War, as you've watched a lot of movies on the war, but you don't really have a solid grasp on the political nature of it, nor how it started or ended. Once you've settled on an initial topic, you can start searching for background information. This is an important step as it will reveal whether your topic is a good fit for the assignment requirements and for your personal interests, or whether you need to refine it a bit so that you can successfully complete the assignment. Now, in this last scenario, I am in a business class and I have been tasked with writing about the impact of artificial intelligence on any type of industry. So we're restricted to that topic, but it's open-ended in the sense that I could write about various aspects of artificial intelligence, whether that be its effects on workflow or staffing, on any type of business. At this beginning point, I'll want to examine artificial intelligence from a big picture perspective. To get an overview of a topic or that big picture perspective, I'll want to start with a reference resource. Reference resources are things like dictionaries or encyclopedias. They provide you with a broad overview of the topic, highlighting useful facts and figures, and ultimately just the history of it. Consulting with reference resources at the beginning of a research assignment is particularly important, as it can point you in new directions that you might not have otherwise thought of. One of the most popular reference resources is the online encyclopedia, Wikipedia. Wikipedia relies on everyday people, like you and me, to create and edit entries. While Wikipedia might be a good starting point, and is actually one that I use a lot, it's important to keep in mind that Wikipedia is not a scholarly resource, so we strongly encourage you to not cite it in your paper. Wikipedia can be a good launching pad and can point you in useful directions, but it's something that a lot of instructors will frown upon. So it's best to err on the side of caution and use a more scholarly resource in its stead. And there are a couple of ways to do that. For example, you can start with Wikipedia and substantiate a fact or claim you find there in a more scholarly resource like Encyclopedia Britannica. Or you can just start directly with Encyclopedia Britannica. At this point, I want to show you how to access and use two of the library databases that provide you with quality reference information. Those two databases are Encyclopedia Britannica, the academic version, and Credo Reference. Both of these resources are scholarly, so they can be cited in your paper. So let's explore Encyclopedia Britannica and Credo Reference. Since we know that we're looking for a database, we're going to go to the A to Z list of library databases. Since I'm looking for Encyclopedia Britannica, I'm going to click on E, then look for the database I want. And here we are. You'll notice that we are on the academic version of Encyclopedia Britannica as opposed to the public version. Now, since I'm looking for information about artificial intelligence, I'm just going to search for that to see what pops up. So now I can see that there are over 100 entries related to this topic. Looking at the list, I'm seeing information about the philosophical analysis of AI, the technical aspects of AI, key people related to AI, and more. Let's explore what's at that first link. Near the top of the entry are different tabs, so if I were interested in viewing the related media, I could click on images and videos, or if I wanted to see other Britannica entries that are related to this one, I could click on the Related tab. Or if I wanted to view the edit history of this article, I could click on the Article History tab. Near the top right of the page are my nifty tools. My favorites are the Cite and Listen tools. To the left of the page, I'll see a table of contents to give me a sense of the information in this entry, and in the body of the entry, I can see that some of the text is linked, providing me with an easy way to read up on related terms, people, and concepts. So that is Encyclopedia Britannica in a nutshell. Back at the A to Z list of databases, let's take a very brief look at Credo Reference. If I run that same search for artificial intelligence, Credo Reference scours hundreds of different reference books, and I can see that it's pulled nearly 3,000 related entries. A word cloud illustrating related concepts is displayed on the right of the page. If I click on one of those entries, I'll see the full record. The reference book it was pulled from is displayed at the top. The same types of tools, including the Cite and Listen tools, are near the top right, and there's a bibliography at the bottom of the page if I wanted to do any further reading. Now, once you start looking for information about a topic, whether that be in the reference sources you just saw or in any of our other databases, you may find that your topic isn't quite right, and that you'll need to adjust it to better meet the assignment guidelines or to make it more personally enjoyable or rewarding for you. Do not let that scare you or make you feel defeated. Research is a process, so you may need to modify your topic or your search strategy several times. That's totally okay. It's actually perfectly normal. How do you know if you have enough information? Here are some questions you can ask yourself that may help. Do I understand the basics of the research topic such that I can explain it to someone else easily? Can I come up with a relevant research question that addresses specific aspects of my topic? At this point, I want to illustrate the ways in which you can refine your topic. You'll want to consider ways to refine your topic at multiple points during the initial stages of your research, namely when you start brainstorming, after you've started looking for background information, and based on what you're finding after you've ramped up the research process. In some instances, your topic may be too broad, so you'll be finding too much information. In other instances, your topic will be too narrow, so you won't be finding enough information. You can narrow your topic by considering some of the following, and I'm going to use my example of a broad topic of artificial intelligence to illustrate each concept. So one thing you might consider is whether there's a specific aspect or impact area you can examine. For instance, how does AI impact a company's workflow? Or you might consider whether there's a specific time range you're interested in. For example, what pivotal AI advancements occurred between 2015 through 2020? Or you might think about whether there's a group based on either age, sex, race, occupation, or ethnicity that you could focus on. For instance, how might AI negatively impact musicians? Or you might consider whether there's a geographical region that you can focus on. For example, what are the main differences, if any, in government policy related to AI in the European Union versus the United States? And last but not least, you might try to find ways to weave 2 to 3 of these different concepts, the ones that are listed above, together to form one mega research question. On the flip side, if your topic is too narrow, you can broaden it by examining whether it's too specific or recent. If it's too specific, start by broadening any time range or geographic location or population group. If your topic is really recent, you'll likely only find news articles and blog posts about it, so you may need to consider changing your topic to something that has been more extensively researched. You might also want to reflect on your search strategy and try different databases or use different keywords. Of course, you are always encouraged to reach out to a reference librarian if you need assistance. From all of us on the Raw Skills team, mahalo for completing episode 1 of the series. We hope you learned some new ways to identify a topic and find background information. In episode number 2, we'll highlight useful search tips and strategies so that when you're ready to start searching for quality information, you'll be able to find it. We'll also be exploring a few of the databases available to UH West Oahu students, faculty, and staff. We hope to see you in the next episode of this series. Mahalo again, and take care.